As you work your way through it, try to watch them horses. You hear a whinny. One of them, the head drops down. It causes you to pause for a second, and then you see a splash of blood go up against the tree, and just it almost looks like someone took a bucket of blood and just tossed it at the tree, and you see the blood splash in the moonlight and hit the tree, and it starts to drip down as the first head disappears. There are 2 wounds left to Shiro. This thing comes at you, and it is a claw across the chest, and it happens so fast that you see it's just a blackness that comes at you. The claw goes across your chest, and you're looking down, and you can see the cuts happening as they go. Everything is fast, and the momentum of this thing, its body goes up against you, and it spins you. So you can't get quite a good look at the thing. You're kind of turned now, almost 180 from where you are before, and you can see the blood on your chest. For 1 second, there's like a half beat of, oh my God, is this thing running away? And none of you hear it coming. It breaks through, comes right at Jack. Now you can tell. Now you can tell this is some sort of panther type, dog type, wolf type something. You can't get a full view of the face, and unfortunately the only thing that Jack sees from the face is the mouth. It drops you down to the ground. You are bleeding out. Your right hand is useless. Edward takes some shots. The shots don't hit. He starts heading back towards the middle. Toshiro is slicing his sword. Sebastian's got his rifle. He stands up. The beast comes and it lands on top of you, Sebastian. And it rips into your chest. You see the mouth come in. You see the bone from your rib cage pop as it comes and you black out. Sebastian, you look down, there's blood all over your clothes, your shirt is tore open, and you put your hand on your chest, and there's no cuts, no wounds. The blood is there, the blood is yours. Toshiro, the crushed shoulder, the clothes have been ripped off as you start to wake. And the clothes are there, all of the tear across your chest, the blood is all there, but you feel, and yeah, there's some scratches, like a cat or maybe a rose bush went across your chest. Jack, you can feel your hand as you wake up. You squeeze it like this. And when you look down, you pull the wrappings that Edward put on top of you, you pull them away. And yeah, your jacket and your clothes and your shirt, all of that is torn away. But you're looking at your arm and there's some bruising. As each of you stand up, it looks to be about a quarter mile away, there's a town, or at least a collection of buildings. And it sure as hell wasn't there 5 minutes ago.
And we said there's a building with lights, huh?
There's a building up ahead, about 300 yards ahead on the left with lights. Can't really tell what it is at this point, but that's the only building that appears to have light coming from it.
I think there's nothing for it but to head into town.
As you guys get closer, I think more than anybody, Sebastian starts to get a little bit of a warm feeling because I think he starts to realize what this building is. It's raised up a bit. It's got half doors. You see the sign. It says saloon. How many whiskeys you need?
4 altogether, please.
Oh, you got money?
Oh, jangle the little coin purse I have.
Well, find yourself a seat. Past that. Toshiro, you step outside. I don't know, maybe you didn't catch it on the way in? You sure catch it on the way out. As soon as you step on that porch, it's almost nauseating, the smell. You're like, something's dead. Something's died. You smell death. And it's strong. So yeah, Toshiro, you're on your knees and you're on there, and it's pitch black, right? You can't see anything down there. But oh my god, that is where the smell is coming from.
Well, I'm grateful that I bought a lantern during character creation then. So I'm going to go ahead and light that up.
Toshiro, you kind of gorilla crawl. Got the lantern in front of you. Dirt. Kind of moist. You start working your way closer to the center. You see her red hair. Her head's turned away from you. She's laying there. Best you can tell, yellow dress. And a lot of blood. All coming from her neck. Howdy, friends and floorheads. Happy Monday, Labor Day here on the East Coast. And we got some Deadlands to play. We've got a nice crowd here watching us live. So hello to everybody in the chat. You saw the recap. You know where we ended episode 1. We're going to jump right in. So let's go ahead and cut to you, Toshiro. You are on your belly in this crawl space, and you're staring at this dead redheaded girl.
I hate this place. How far am I from, the edge of the building?
About 15 feet behind you. So you've gone in about 20 feet or so.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and crawl closer and try to get her kind of in as much of a fireman carry as I can while I'm underneath a building, and bring her out so that Edward can take a look at her.
As you're kind of situating yourself to try to get to her, you notice that the blood is all dried up. So there's just gore that's around her neck is all dried up. You do see that a good chunk of her neck has been taken out by something. You can't really fireman carry because there's really not much to do, but you can kind of set your lantern behind you so you can keep view on things and kind of slide your hands under her and kind of inch back with her, right? So kind of not dragging her, but not carrying her either, if that makes any sense. I want to know, have you alerted anybody to what the heck's going on?
Yeah, I think once I get my hands underneath her, I'm going to shout back and say, I found a body.
Those of you looking under, you can see Toshiro starting to inch his way back to where you are.
Is it a moving body?
Not so much. Edward, I think this is your wheelhouse.
All right.
I'm gonna take a step back and raise my rifle and point it where I know Toshiro is gonna be coming out.
Thank you.
I'm going to grab Toshiro's Naginata and get it ready in case I have to toss it to him.
So Toshiro ends up getting himself out there. You now see him coming out, and the woman emerges with him. And Edward, you don't need to roll for this. Your best guess is she's probably about 3 days in, as far as how long she has been dead. There's no color left in her skin. The blood and the gore from her neck is all dried up. You can see the dried blood all over her yellow dress. Her red hair is long and free, but covered with dirt. And there's some insect action around the neck as well.
I'll relay that information to everyone else. And you said so. It's been days, and we think, and it looks like an animal more so than like a sharp weapon or anything like that. You said. Yeah.
In fact, let's go ahead and let's do a quick check on that. So, what skill do you want to use?
Do we think medical is applicable for that?
I would think so.
My medical or healing rather, which I guess is the same thing.
Yeah. Let's do a healing roll. What do you have in that?
I have an 8 in that.
Look at you with a nice exploding to 11. So, Edward, your assessment, like I said, about 3 days old, based on the rigor, based on the gore, the dryness of the blood, and it definitely looks like an animal tore out her throat and her neck. Based off of the size of the wound, all you can think about is what you faced before. So whatever it was, would it be about the same size as what you battled?
Sure.
Back at the clearing near the campfire.
What doesn't make sense is why would an animal hide it under the building?
Skinwalker?
Saving it for later.
Bigger question is, how did an animal the size that we fought get under the building?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got another question. None of us smelled
None
this
of you
coming
smelled
in,
this
right?
when you came in.
No.
Marshall and Barkeep didn't catch it.
Right.
Or if they did, they've been hiding.
Toshiro, did you notice any
So why didn't you
scratch
smell it
marks
coming in?
above where her body was?
I wasn't really looking. Got a little
Understandable, just
distracted.
not sure if you saw it. Because I remember hearing something under the floorboards.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, when you go back to grab the lantern you left, maybe you could check.
Fine.
You
And my
named the
noggin
lantern
auto
too,
back
right?
Is anybody coming with me, or am I on my own on this one again?
Not sure I'll fit, so I'll stay here.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll go back and grab my lantern, and while I'm under there, I'm going to look for
So Toshiro,
claw
you
marks.
again army crawl back in. You get to where the lantern is, and you put the lantern in front of you. Crawl a little bit more where the body was, right, and you can see where the body had laid on the ground. You can see the kind of the indent. You look up the floor, which is oak, not pine, and you do see some scratch marks right above where she was.
See, if that floor was pine, you wouldn't see those scratch marks.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I'll army crawl my way back out and relay that to these guys.
You know, it takes a bit to claw through oak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, so you said you heard scratches. You think it might have dropped it off while we were there?
I am not even going to pretend to understand what's going on here, Toshiro. I'm just trying to relay information we know and get a logical connection between it, which I seem to be failing to do. So,
All right, I think
Edward, you're the brains
Hey,
here.
Edward.
Anything making sense to you?
anything adding up?
Yeah.
Nothing's adding up to me. I think that we should definitely report this to the marshal. And so Edward is on his way in. Certainly.
Edward, one second. Is she gonna come back like we did?
Well, it's been 3 days, or roughly 3 days, and if I'm not mistaken, we seem to have come back almost immediately. So it seems unlikely to me that whatever happened to us is going to happen to her at this point.
We asked the marshal what time it was. Did any of us ask him what day it was?
I don't think that we did.
How long were we dead?
That's a very good
nothing
question.
seemed different
Are we
at the
dead?
campsite. Fire was still burning.
So I've heard stories of this place called the Hunting Grounds that has these creatures called Manitou that is kind of like a spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that maybe when we shuffled that mortal coil, we were drugged to the hunting ground by a Manitou? I mean, That might have been what the creature was.
Maybe.
So you guys are all standing over the body,
Well,
you know,
Edward, I think
having this discussion.
Oh.
You guys look up and down the street, just see the buildings on either side of the road. No activity. You look up at the moon. It still ain't moving.
Edward,
I'm
you
going
wanted to
for
talk
it.
to.
I'm doing it. I'm going to go talk to the marshal.
All right.
So I'm heading back into the saloon, assuming we didn't see him leave.
Yeah. So Edward, you walk into the saloon. Doesn't look like much has changed. You can see the back of the marshal sitting on the bar stool. He's sipping on a whiskey and talking to our bartender. Bartender sees you come in and kind of leans over. You guys want another drink?
Marshal, there's a dead girl outside. We'd like you to come look at her, see if you can recognize her.
He kind of turns around and goes, "A dead girl? Where?
We found her under the saloon.
What were you doing under the saloon?"
The smell was god awful. We had to check it out.
Well, that's odd. What's she look like?
Red hair, young, yellow dress.
Hey, a Gus, red hair, yellow dress. When's the last time you saw Sally Mae? Oh, you know what? It's been a couple days. I ain't seen her none in a while. And geez, I wonder if that's Sally Mae. I wonder if that's why we hadn't seen her in a bit. Yeah, it sure do sound like her. Well, turns back to you. Appreciate you letting us know. Turns back and starts talking to Gus.
Marshal, you need to check this out.
Look, she ain't going nowhere. So I'm gonna finish my whiskey. And you got her right outside the saloon. You dragged her out from under this thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you just leave her there, and when I finish this whiskey, I'll head on out and check it out. Maybe I'll take it up to the Undertakers, and we can put her in the ground like she should be. She's not awful nice girl. That is just a shame.
Marshal, does she have family?
Oh boy, Gus, does Sally Mae have family? Well, I know she's from East. That's why she talk fancy, and I you know what? I never really talked to Sally Mae about her family. So yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I assume she's got a mom and a pa. I mean, we all do, right? And yeah, no, she don't know.
All right, I think exasperated, I'm going to return to the group and say that the marshal is no help at all.
Okay.
So did you ask where she lives? I mean, clearly there would be dried blood if she was attacked here. So we think she was drugged here. Maybe she was killed at where she lives.
No, I did not ask that question. Let's pretend I asked that question.
Marshall. Is the marshal stupid and lazy, or is he actively working against investigating this?
He doesn't seem to be actively doing anything.
Never attribute to maliciousness what can accurately be attributed to incompetence. So I'll stick my head in. Hey, Marshal, do you know where this Sally Mae lives?
Slightly annoyed, turns around and goes, "Well, I reckon right now she lives out here in front of the saloon, based on what your buddy told me."
Yeah. Sorry about that. Hey, Gus. I'll toss a coin on a table near the door. Buy the marshal a drink for me, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. And Hank, the marshal kind of turns when you do that, and
It's for interrupting your drink.
might have kind of you. And he kind of tips his glass up and takes it down and goes, Gus, I think we're gonna have one more.
So I'll head back. Okay, yeah, marshals. I think the marshal's entire job is to see how many drinks his liver can take before it explodes.
All right. So looking up and down the street, does it look like there are residences a certain way, or?
So Sebastian, you kind of once again kind of look up and down the streets, and you're thinking back, like, all right, when we came into this town, this Perdition, as the sign said, each of these buildings were kind of nondescript, right? Except for the saloon. The saloon had a sign on it, and it was the first one on your left as you came into town on the road. And I kind of looking around the town, and he was there before, but maybe you just didn't notice the sign right across from the saloon. Right there, you see doctors. It's a doctor's office, it says up top, and you see the medical symbol there with the snakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, how did I miss that? Like, I remember looking at that building, but I don't remember seeing the sign.
You fellas remember a doctor's office being over there?
Can't say that I do remember what was there.
Nah, but that's supposedly the thing about the hunting grounds is that, whatever Manitou controls the one you're on, they can kind of make it look whatever they want to.
Yeah, I think the doctor's office was on my bad side.
I guess I'll mosey my way over, and is there a window or something I can try and peek in, or?
Yeah, you kind of work your way over there, Sebastian. It's not far away. It's only a handful of yards over, and kind of look at the doctor's office and check the front door. Front door is locked, and kind of peek into the window, and you can see kind of where this doctor takes care of people. It's got a kind of a makeshift table there, and you can see up against the wall some bottles, that's got medicines and bandages and things like that on it. And in the back, you can see there's a door that leads to a next room, and it's kind of slightly ajar, and it looks like a cot maybe with feet. It looks like you can just see like someone laying on a cot, but you can only see their feet.
Okay.
And they're, the feet are, looks like they got some socks on them, but that's about all you can piece together.
Well, looks like somebody's sleeping in the back room there.
Well, maybe they know where Sally Mae lives. I mean, worst case
Okay.
scenario, they're as helpful as the marshal.
I don't know if that's the worst case scenario. That might actually end up being the best case scenario there, Jack.
Worst case scenario is
Yeah.
another one of those bear things.
All right. I guess I'll go ahead and just. Excuse me, Doc.
Knock on the door. Don't get an answer. You kind of peek back through the window, and man, must be a pretty sound sleeper if he's sleeping. He hasn't moved.
I hadn't even considered that. Where on the scale of best to worst cases that he's just dead to?
Well, it depends upon whether it's, unmobile dead or mobile dead.
That is true. Should we break in to check on him?
The very worst, that'd make us end up in the jail we were aiming to end up
Very
in.
least
that-
you think that- I bet you if we break in here, the marshal will just be like, "Let me finish my whiskey and then I'll take care of it." I'm sure
Yep.
those boys will wait.
Just what I was thinking.
So what are we going to do?
Guess attempt to break it.
Door's locked. We've checked.
Sebastian, you can tell that it's not going to take much of a shoulder
Okay.
push to kind of get it open, and you kind of do it the first time and it gives a little bit, and you do it a second time and nothing breaks or anything. The just the lock gives.
Yeah.
It wasn't a really good lock, and door pops open.
Okay.
Push it open. Looking around, pretty much what you saw through the window, and then there's obviously that back room.
Doc?
Still no motion from the sleeping man person.
I got Sebastian right at the open door. Where's everybody else?
If it,
I'll stand.
I was gonna say, if it's possible,
ahead,
I
Dick.
want to stand at a window where I can see the person in the back. That way, I'm out of Sebastian's way if he has to jump out of the door, but gives a second pair of eyes on what's going on.
I got you right there, Jack. So you can see, you're looking through the window Sebastian was looking through, which is off to the left of the door. So yeah, there's no trouble doing that, and you can see that whoever's sleeping there in the back room hasn't seemed to move.
Yeah, all right. I'll head on in if you don't mind me squeezing
Okay.
past you, Sebastian.
So Toshiro, you kind of move past Sebastian. Sebastian, you got your rifle out, right? Shotgun.
I have my rifle up and
Your rifle.
out, and I'll probably follow him very closely.
So Toshiro, you get to the door to this back area. On the as you're going by, you can see there's a little desk to the left in the medical in the exam room area, in the main doctor's area, and you can see it says Dr. Corey Coates. You can see a little sign that says there. Kind of door's ajar, so you kind of push it, slides open, and curled up on a cot. There's boots at the bottom on the floor near the cot, and looks like a kind of a sheet laid over, kind of twisted around, is curled up there. Is a guy you figure is maybe late 40s, early 50s, got white hair, balding, wearing kind of a bed coat, one piece thing, and he's kind of curled up and head on a pillow and eyes are closed.
Hey, Doc.
I guess I'm heading in. Does anything in the room look out of sorts? Like anybody would have messed around with it, or?
So you go in there, Edward, and you're looking around this obviously this back area. There's a kind of a kitchenette, small kitchen area with a place for a wood stove. You see some pots and pans hanging up. You see kind of a chest of drawers on the other wall. By all appearances, look like Doc Coates might live here in the back here. And there's also a back door, and that's closed. And he's just curled up on this cot. And as you're looking around, Edward, you hear kind of a and he kind of repositions himself and just kind of
At least appears to be sleeping.
yeah.
Toshi, poke him with your stick.
It's a naginata.
Well, just don't use the sharp end.
I'm just gonna give him a nice little jab in the side of the
You
ribs.
take the blunt
with
end
the blunt
and
end.
you kind of lightly tap him a little bit on his rib area and kind of scratches his face. Now eyes never quite open. He just kind of fiddles a little bit and settles back in.
All right, I'm giving him a more solid jab
You do that, and there's not much reaction. Eyes never open.
Edward, hold this.
Gonna make an attempt at rousing. Shoulder grab.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab him and shake him.
So
Hey,
Tashir, you
hey!
pick him up and you grab him by the shoulders and you're over him on the bed and you just start shaking him and he's
So bizarre.
Hey, Doug.
he is a
think he
heavy
may be
sleeper.
You think he may be drugged?
So I'll take a look and see if there's anything that I can see that would indicate that he's been drugged. It's hard to imagine someone being that heavy a sleeper.
So let's do this, Edward. Let's check his pulse, right?
We'll do that.
Yeah, you check his pulse and you can hear his, you checking and it's steady, a little slow, but he's sleeping, right? So that matches up. Kind of grab his mouth, open it up, and kind of looking in his jaw, and God, he needs a dentist. But other than that, you don't see any signs of any residue, or you kind of smell his sleep breath, and it's just bad, but it doesn't smell chemical at all. In no way is he reacting to the fact that you're now manhandling him.
Madness.
Is there a pitcher of
Sure.
water
It's not the
nearby?
path.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dump it on
You
him.
grab this pitcher of water, and I think about halfway as you're kind of splashing it on him, you realize that ain't water. It's urine, and you splash it all over him, and just urine stain on the white sheet and on his bed
Ooh.
coat and everything, and he's got it on his face and stuff, and
Why the hell's he got a pitcher full of
I don't
pee?
know. Maybe the bedpan was full. This is
I hate this town so much.
well, this seems to be.
Well, it's almost like everything's stuck.
Yeah.
Is there a journal or something of his? Maybe medical notes. Does he have
yeah.
anything
So
like that?
let's kind of find his journal. You kind of go through the journal, and you can see looks about maybe over the last couple days he's had maybe 15, 20 patients come by, minor stuff, cough here, give an elixir there. You see Sally Coates' name,
Sally
and
Bay.
next to her name got written pregnant ?
Relative to the day we believe we were attacked, what's the date in?
Last one you see is yesterday. And yesterday it looks like he may have done an autopsy. So you look and you see autopsy, Frank Watkins and Denise Mullins, and attacked by dogs, death natural. That's the last entry.
Hey, Doc. You suppose you could tell if Sally Mae was still pregnant?
I suppose I could tell.
This is going to get real gory real fast, ain't it, Doc?
Seems like. So, in the doctor's office, is there like a medical examination room?
There is, yeah. That's the main room there. It's kind of
Okay.
the exam room.
Would someone mind bringing her in?
Yeah, I'm
I'll
on
go
my
and help Toshiro.
So Toshiro and Sebastian, you go back out the doc's office and you come over to the body, and Toshiro picks her up, carrying her, and rigor is set in pretty good. And you turn to walk back into the doc's office, and what the hell, man? I mean, you were just outside. And now you can see the building next to the doctor's office is the sheriff's office. It's got the marshal sign up there and it says marshal's office on it on the front. And man, you know that's was not there before. The building was there before, but that wasn't. So you're now standing there looking at that, noticing that. Sebastian, you notice as well. And Toshiro, you've got who you believe to be Sally in your arms. Heading back in.
Hey, Sebastian, that one was on my good side.
That wasn't there before. I don't know what's messing with us, but this is just getting strange.
I think Jack might be right. We're in some sort of hell.
Definite possibility. I always thought I was a good person, but who really knows? I don't know. Let's get this body into Edward and let's see what. I don't know. Maybe go check out the new office.
Sounds good to me.
Just carry the body in. You lay it on the exam table. What are we doing, Edward?
Let's say essentially an autopsy to determine if this girl is in fact pregnant and anything else we can learn about how she died, et cetera, et cetera.
So the first obvious thing you know to do is to kind of lift her dress up and kind of feel her belly. And there's a distension there. And you're like, yeah, I mean, she could it could be that she's starting to show maybe. As you kind of feel her belly.
Okay, so we think that she definitely appears that she could be pregnant.
Yeah.
Doesn't really explain an animal murder or anything like that
Jack?
either.
Wanted to mention to you, sheriff's office mysteriously showed up. I'm starting to wonder more and more about what were you calling them?
Hunting ground.
Where we are, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems bad.
So, Greg, young lady with fancy voice, seems to not really have family. That sounds like potentially a school marm. So, I'm used to dealing with being on a hunting ground for my deals with the devil. I'm going to focus on the town and I'm going to try to ignore everything except for a schoolhouse and see if if I see a schoolhouse appear.
Let's do a spirit roll.
Okay. My spirit is a D6.
All right, you got your 4. So you're kind of closing your eyes and just thinking schoolhouse, school building, and nothing comes back to you after you get done concentrating on it. But there is something that's itching in the back of your head that says coffin maker. You get a sense of coffin maker pops into your head for some reason. Marshal's office pops into your head for some reason. Dirty Dog Saloon. Doc Coates' office. Like, these are just thoughts that are just kind of pass through as your eyes are closed.
Yes, Dirty Dog Saloon's the saloon across the street, right? Okay. I didn't know if it had a sign on it or not. It just says saloon on the sign.
Last you looked, it just said saloon.
So, I'm not saying I'm a betting man, but if I'm a betting man, I think whatever keeps causing these buildings to get, I don't know, out of the fog, might think the coffin maker and the marshal's office might be useful.
Jack, not to nitpick, but the reason we aren't on the train is
No,
because you are a
betting
betting
assumes
man.
you might lose.
So we
Well,
think we're gonna head to the marshal's office and see if there's anything there.
I guess.
Did you want to do
Is there any more to
anything
learn beyond that?
here,
she's
Doc?
that we think she is pregnant.
It depends. What are we? Tell me what questions you want answers to.
'Cause beyond that,
Is she actually pregnant?
So I think about, I mean, this time, late 1800s. I really don't know. There's no such thing as a pregnancy test or anything like that. And I think without getting truly invasive, I'm not real sure Edward could conclude that. Obviously, if he were to take a knife to her, potentially could, start taking her apart and figuring it out. So I don't know if that's what Edward wants to do.
I feel like we've got enough of a sign that we could reliably say yes without needing to go that far.
Your
How's
assessment of the neck wound is the same as it was when you first looked at it. It definitely is something with teeth just ripped her throat out.
So, I do have one question for you, Edward.
Okay.
Seeing as how we're in a doc's office, is there anything in the office that might help in case we run into whatever ripped her throat out? Like bandages, antiseptics, all those patch you up after a fight type of stuff?
Oh, I'm sure there's things like that here, although patch you up after a fight stuff seems like if we ran into that again, I don't know that there'd be much to patch up.
How about anything that might knock it out or light it on fire?
Sure, we can look around and see if there's anything that we think would be flammable in the office.
Yeah. I mean, there's papers, there's all kinds of stuff.
I'm thinking something more like like a gas canister of some kind.
No gas canisters. You do find some rubbing alcohol, which I guess could be an accelerant, if need be.
Towns like this may not have a dedicated vet. Any horse tranquilizers?
What about like ether or something along
So
those lines?
you find a bottle of ether. Don't seem to come across any tranquilizers per se, Jack. But yeah, there's a bottle of ether up on the shelf.
Jack, you got a good throwing arm, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah.
You spot something, why don't you
Sounds
pitch
good.
this right into its face?
Sebastian, what you doing during all this?
Well, these guys are, tossing the place. I'm probably standing at the door looking outside, just trying to keep an eye out in case something's trying to sneak up on us.
Yeah, and you do that. You step outside and kind of looking up and down the street and damn thing does say Dirty Dog Saloon. Huh. And then you look diagonal to where you were next to the saloon and you go, well, it says Undertaker. Didn't notice that before. And there seems to be, two coffins kind of showcased up on the porch. Those definitely weren't there before. You look over, there's the marshal's office still there with the sign and everything.
Hey, fellas,
Yeah.
might want to come check this out.
Might we?
Hmm.
All right, I guess we're heading out.
Sure.
What would you
Well,
spot?
apparently, it is the Dirty Dog Saloon. Looks like the Undertaker's is right next door now.
That sign didn't say "Dirty Dog" last time we were there. Did it?
Not that I recall.
I
I mean, it's a different sign altogether, right? So
Mhm.
it had saloon there before, and now it's completely different sign, and now it says Dirty Dogs Saloon. So it's not like Dirty Dog just appeared above it; it's a completely new sign.
I'm gonna walk across the street and up to the. I assume it's still the swinging doors,
Mhm.
and look in. Are Gus and the marshal still?
Chatting away.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh no, I'm just gonna turn around, and walk back, and be like, "Well, those two are still in there."
Where? Well, I guess we can go sleep in the jail now.
Should we check out the Undertaker first?
Jack, what were the names of the places that came to
Four of
mind
these.
for you?
Something about a coffin, coffin maker, and the marshal, and the two bills we've looked at.
Marshal's office.
Is
Sure.
that
Sound
That's
good to
good.
everybody? Yeah, you down.
You guys
I'm starting to agree with you, Toshiro.
mosey next door. Again, couple steps up to the front porch area of the marshal's office, and big wood letters on the door says marshal office. It's got a marshal badge, kind of a wood marshal badge on it. And, who's checking the door?
I'll go ahead and check it.
Unlocked.
Hmm.
Two windows, though they're curtained, so not much to see when you look in them.
I'll slowly push it open.
So you turn the handle on it and start to push the door open. See a desk. And on the desk is a little sign that says Marshall, Hank Doolittle. On it, there's a Winchester 73, a couple boxes of rounds next to it. In the back, you see two cells. And it appears somebody's in the left one, on the bench, kind of curled up, sleeping. Looks to be a younger man. You figure maybe early 20s. He doesn't look like he's bathed in a while. So he's got a bit of a stench about him. He's got his back to you, so he's kind of curled up facing the wall.
And this is definitely not bathed stench, and not died of, I don't know, not being fed for a week because the marshal's drinking stench, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a mixture of like BO and maybe booze. But definitely not
Hey,
not
buddy.
death.
Money's on. We won't be able to wake him up.
Yeah. I'm going to start looking through the...
Jack, I know you're not a betting man.
I'm going to start looking through the desk to see if I can find out why he's in the jail.
See, you go to the desk. It you see, on there's a record book. It says Stephen Thompson, drunk and disorderly. Looks to be marked for yesterday.
It must have been one bender if he's still smelling drunk a day later.
And he didn't respond when Sebastian hailed him. Yeah.
Sherry, you want to try poking him with your naginata again?
Yeah, I'll give him a nice little hit him with my wake
so
up
you go to
stick,
the
I guess.
cell to Shiro. It's locked, but you look over. There's a peg, and on the peg you can see keys. So you grab the keys and unlock the little pen, little door, and you open it up and taking your stick, kind of poking them, and about as much reaction from him as you got from Doc Coates.
Okay. Just to be safe, I say we lock this door again. Just to account for unpredictability.
Close it up.
Seems reasonable to me.
Lock it. Keeping the keys, putting the keys back in the peg. What are we doing?
I'm going to go ahead and hold on to the keys
seems
unless
fine.
anybody feels
I
strongly
feel
against
strongly
it.
for it.
I feel like so every time we step out, more of this town
Definitely
appears.
seeming
Been
so.
true so far.
Yeah.
Still need to go check out the Undertakers.
The only people who've been awake have been
Mhm.
Hank and Gus. Makes sense they'd be awake 10:45 at night. He's drinking. Everybody else is asleep.
Everybody's stuck.
Yeah.
Well, even then, they're awake, but they seem to be repeating the same process.
Mhm. But they do remember things. It's not like if we leave and come
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
it's an entirely new thing.
That seems true.
Well, I guess let's go
I guess we gotta
Yeah.
check out.
see the
yeah.
Undertaker.
If I believed in magic, I'd almost look to see if maybe the clock's been spelled to lock this town into a specific time.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
we can always head to the Undertaker and see where that takes us.
Yeah.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a glance around this room and see if anything seems out of sorts, as if anything were ransacked or anything besides us having been here prior
Nah.
to. Okay.
Looks like a marshal's office.
Yeah.
Heading
Okay.
across the street.
I think we're heading across the street.
Jack, Edward, you ever heard of anything that's been able to do this?
Not off the top of my head, but seen a weird thing or two in my life, so
I mean, you definitely heard ghost stories back during the war, but nothing like this.
Before you gentlemen head back out and fully anticipating to see something change,
A brand new building.
nothing changed. The Undertaker's office is across the street. Signs the way it was. The two display coffins on the front porch. They're kind of there and they're open. Just nothing really fancy about them. Just wooden coffins. The closed door in the front, where it's just where it's marked Undertaker.
And no activity up or down the street any further.
All right. So first things first, before we go busting into this place, Edward, what kind of thing are you, what kind of gun are you shooting?
It is a Rainmaker. So it's a 6-shooter.
Six
Double
shooter.
action.
Is there a caliber on it?
32.
32.
Mhm.
Okay,
It was the smallest one I could get that didn't have a D6 strength requirement.
and that's fair.
Which is really an odd thing for Edward to say out loud. But
It seemed
I'm
safe
gonna-
with all that
I'm
science
gonna
talk
like
there.
reach into my jacket pocket, pull out a speed loader, take the bullets out, and be like, "Here, just put some bullets in that for you in case you need it." And then I'm gonna check my other one. Okay.
All right.
so, as you're crossing the street, Edward's fumbling, trying to figure out the speed loader, get his bullets loaded into it. And you come up to the porch of the Undertaker's office, and like I said, Sebastian, the door's locked. There are 2 windows next to each of the coffins, but curtains closed on them.
I'll just look at the other guys and be like, "Nobody has a problem with
I mean,
B&E yet, right?"
Yeah.
It's like,
Nope.
I'll try and shoulder the door open again.
Same thing you did with the doc's office, right? The first time you can feel it give, and the second time it pops
Yeah.
and swings open.
Hmm.
And you look into, I mean, I guess it's like some sort of showroom. You see a couple coffins on the left-hand side open. You see kind of a reception desk, you would guess. It's super tiny in the
Mhm.
back right corner. And there's a door on the far wall right across from where you are. It's closed. It says private on a little sign on top of the door. But to the right, you also see 2 coffins, and they're shut, but leaning up against the wall the same way.
Think those may be the 2 people that got hit by the dog.
Possibly.
do we see anything?
Toshiro,
Seems reasonable to
you
me.
want to go check that back door,
Yep.
and I'm going to keep an eye on these 2 coffins?
You
I
think
mean,
they're
all
gonna
the other
pop
ones are
open or
open.
something?
These 2 are closed, and I'm not leaving anything to chance right now.
So
That's
how about
reasonable.
if I go check the door so Toshiro can keep his long stick spear nagi thing in between us and the coffins?
If you're comfortable with that.
Nagi nada.
So I will go check the door that's marked private.
So you open up the door, Jack, and it's not that dissimilar to what you saw in the back of the doc's office, right? So you can see, obviously, this is where somebody lives. You see a cot, bed. It's more of a bed than a cot in there. There's nobody in it, and there's to the right you see a chair. In the chair seems to be a middle-aged man sitting there. See a bottle of whiskey empty by his foot, and he's sitting in the chair and head down.
I got what looks like a passed out drunk in here.
Ugh.
Let's see if I can shake him awake now.
So Tashirs, you kind of
Unless you want to do the honors, Jack.
Yeah, I'm already here. What's the worst that can happen?
I really wish you guys would stop saying stuff like that.
there is a brief moment of silence as Jack kind of starts to work his way in. Toshiro, you're about to head towards that back room, and then you stopped when Jack volunteered to do this. And in that moment of silence, you hear scratching coming from both coffins.
Swell.
All right. I'll go ahead and what do you guys suppose? Pop one of them open at a time.
I guess.
Sure.
All right.
Edward's face.
No.
All of this is a bad idea.
Well, you know, a wise
I'm gonna
man.
look over and be like, Edward, do you
I'll,
even have a gun in your hand?
Let's say I draw my pistol.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Jack?
Yeah.
Hey, Jack. Might want to borrow you back here
Okay.
for a moment.
So did the door open into the back room or into the front room?
So it opens into the back room, right? So it opens away from you if you're in the showroom.
Okay. I'm going to step out, close the door. You said there's a desk. Is there a chair beside the desk?
There is.
I'm going to grab the chair. I'm going to shove it under the doorknob.
Got it.
You know, bad things happen. Better safe than sorry.
I'm in complete agreement with you there, Jack.
You do notice a closed ledger on the desk, though, Jack, as you grab that chair.
Okay.
The scratching stopped.
All right. You boys ready?
Nope, but go ahead.
I'm gonna, two-handed with the naginata, just try to get it under one of the lid of one of the coffins.
And to be
pop
clear,
it
these
open.
coffins aren't on the ground, right? So they're leaned up against the wall there, and they're closed there. So do you want to go for left or right? It's like the worst game of Let's Make a Deal ever.
I'd like to take door number 3.
So Toshiro, you take the spear and you kind of hook it on the coffin. And are we slow open or quick open? You
Quick
yank back, the coffin door flies open. There's a woman standing there in the coffin. She's got her hands kind of on her chest. You see on the inside of the door scratch marks at about her torso level. And takes a second. Her eyes moving? Yeah. They're darting back and forth. So she's there, and you just see her eyes darting left, darting right, just frantically moving.
You alive there, miss?
Her eyes turn and look at you, Toshiro, and no answer.
Okay, so that wasn't just me sniffing whiskey fumes in the back room, right?
No.
Hey, look up for yes and look down for no.
What was the question again? So,
Do you understand? No, I just said look up for yes and down for no. Do you
see her look up.
understand? Okay. Are you alive?
She doesn't look up or down. She's just kind of left and right.
Did you get mauled by a pack of dogs?
She pauses for a second, and then her eyes slowly look up.
Or was it one
Quickly
real
dart up.
big black thing? Yeah. Jack, what's the name in the ledger?
I'll open up the ledger and take a look.
Yeah, so you can see 2 most recent entries: Frank Watkins, Denise Mullins. And there's a note under it says, Killed by devil. Capital D.
So you want the good news or the bad news? Okay, I'll start with the. Okay, so I'll start with the good
Why you
news.
gotta ask it like that?
Good news is it looks like this is a lady that the doc wrote about doing an autopsy on. Bad news is I'm really starting to think I'm right. I hate it when I'm right.
Can you move?
He looks down.
Yeah. You from this town, Perdition?
Kind of pauses for a second and then kind of slowly looks up. You're also noticing her looking to her right when you're not asking her a question. Kind of like look at you, then looks to the right, looks at you, looks at the right, and of course she's the right hand coffin, so she's looking at the other coffin. She
You
looks
want
up.
me to open up that other coffin?
That's exactly what she would say.
I'm gonna look at the other three.
I mean, at some point we're going to have to.
I'll just shoulder my
All right.
rifle and
Let me tell you something.
put a bead on the other coffin.
So
Denise, if it turns out you can move and you bite me, I'm gonna be mad as
well,
hell.
when you open it so that the door is blocking her from you, so that you can only get jumped by one of them. So Craig, I
Yeah,
have a
fair point.
procedural question.
Yep.
When we reset our bennies and our health when we woke up, did that also reset my PowerPoints?
It sure did.
Okay. Not saying that's going to be necessary in the near future, but just in case.
Just in case.
Just crossed my mind.
You fellas ready
Yeah.
for me to open
Yeah.
this next one?
So
As ready as I guess we can be.
All right. I'll pop it open.
So
Same
sure,
way.
you take
Quickly
your-
open it up.
Spear and you hook it. You pop it open. Gentleman there, arms across his chest. Figure about the same age. It's the woman in the other coffin. And he's looking to the left. And he looks back at you.
Howdy, Pilgrim. You can't move. Look up for yes, look
Looks
down
up.
for no. Do you understand? Yeah. We established this with Denise. Did you overhear this?
What was that again, Toshiro?
Did you overhear all of this
He looks
already?
down.
All right. Don't worry, Denise can't move either. She seems like she can communicate with us.
Looks up.
You understand? All right. Get mauled by the devil?
Looks up.
Yeah.
Did
I hate this
did
town.
the attack happen in this town, or did the attack happen outside of town and then you found yourself here?
Not quite sure how to answer that with his eyes.
Gonna have to
So
be a
did
yes
you
or
get
no there,
attacked in
Jack.
town?
He looks up.
Okay.
Are there more than 4 buildings in this
He
town?
looks up.
Does Hank Doolittle do anything?
remember yes or no?
There's a
Does he actually do any
so
law
there's a
enforcement?
pause. And then kind of a slow up.
It's like, does drinking whiskey count?
Great, they can even convey sarcasm through their eyes.
Did somebody sick this thing on you?
Hesitation. You look over at who you assume is Denise as well. At the same time, they both kind of look down. But it was a slow hesitating down.
Are you all friends with Sally Mae?
Denise looks up. Doesn't look like Frank reacts. He's just kind of looking left and right.
Do y'all know she was pregnant?
There's a hesitation, then Denise looks down slowly.
So it doesn't sound like these are a couple of loose ends then.
Denise, were you and Sally fighting over this
She
fella
looks
over
down.
here? All right.
So is there somebody interested in Sally that you knew of?
She looks up.
Was it Hank Doolittle?
Quickly looks down. Looks down.
Doctor?
The guy in the back here?
Looks down.
I got one more guy.
Your neighbor
Looks
over
down.
here?
Gus?
Looks down.
We got
Okay,
Sam
so-
the drunk, right?
Looks down.
Okay, so
drunkard.
there's not anyone we met
Yeah.
yet.
Are there more than 15 people
She
in
looks
this
up.
town?
He looks up. They both do.
According to the sign, there were 38.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we can only account for
Oh, there are 3. Yeah, something.
7 of them.
3 in here. 1 in the doc's office. 1 in the sheriff's office.
Mhm.
And 3 at the saloon.
And 3 at the saloon.
Mm-hmm. Is there somebody in this town
She looks
who
up
we shouldn't
immediately.
trust?
Is it Gus?
Is it any of those people we just listed off? Oh yeah, go ahead.
What was that, Sebastian?
Is it Gus?
Looks down.
Any of the people we listed? Drunkard, Hank,
So
Doctor.
she hears you kind of rattle off everybody, and there's a hesitation. She looks down.
Hmm. So there's somebody we haven't met
Yeah.
who we shouldn't trust.
Well, if that ain't scary, I don't know what is. Here, you guys
Hell, they
You
might not
guys
even
wait
exist
1
yet.
second. I'm going to step back out onto the front porch and look around and see if any new buildings have manifest.
So you step out, Sebastian, and you look into your left, and you can see across this way. You see the marshal's office just as you left it. To the right of that, you see the doc's office. You look over, and of course, there's the Dirty Dog Saloon. You look to your left, though, and there was about like 4 more buildings, 2 more buildings that were nondescript on either side of the road. They're gone. So there were buildings there. There was 8 buildings. You counted them as you came in. Now there's only 4. Whoa, wait a minute. No, there's 5. About 300 yards down, the road ends. There's a fence around a little yard. And by far the biggest building in town. It's this big white building.
Oh, God, we're going after a preacher man, aren't we?
We're going to go to a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, welcome back. We got three of you guys still in the Undertaker's office. Sebastian, you stepped outside. You saw that 4 of the buildings just vanished, but there's this new, and when I say new, it's not like just built new, but new like it wasn't there before. 2-story, fanciest building that you've seen so far in town at the end of the road, about 200 yards down the road. And you can see it's fenced in. Looks like maybe the yard is a little overgrown, best as you can tell, but you're not really close enough to be able to get a clear assessment of it. But it's kind of like a 2-story Victorian style house. White.
Not a church like I was thinking it was, but just kind of gonna turn back and walk back in and be like, well, we got a new building.
So I look at Denise.
Oh yeah.
This person that you said we shouldn't trust, do they live in that building?
So
Big white house.
So as soon as Sebastian says big white house, she looks up.
Great.
Is it the mayor of the town?
Is that the same one who had a special interest?
So the mayor questions, she looks down. Shiro?
Is that the same person that we were supposed to, or is this the same person who was taking an
She
interest
immediately
in
looks up.
Sally?
Of course.
Preacher?
Yeah, crap.
Yeah. Every town like this has some rich guy who thinks he can have whatever he wants and discard it when he's done.
Yeah. Except apparently this rich guy has devil hounds.
Or is a devil hound.
You know, that is a terrifying thought, Jack, and I wish you hadn't put it in my head.
All right. So, Denise, this fella in the big house, he somehow is able to control that devil thingy.
She doesn't look up or down. She just kind of looks left and right a little bit.
Is he that devil thingy?
Same kind of thing. She doesn't. She seems to not answer. Kind of just kind of looking left and right.
Is there any back way into that house aside from the front door?
She pauses for a second and slowly looks up.
Probably a servant entrance.
Is it a cellar? Do you know how to get in there?
She doesn't really answer you. Left.
You
Kind of
can't
looks left and
really
right.
wheel a dead body up there and have it kind of use it as a compass to get in there, Toshiro.
I'm just saying, yeah. Your friend over here. I'm gonna turn to the other fella. You know how to get in the back way
He looks down.
into that big white house?
Guess we'll have to do this hard way.
Hold on. Before we go, I'd like to go back to the saloon and see if, Marshall Do Nothing will.
It's Doolittle.
Yeah, that's what I said. Do nothing. Will can tell us who lives in that house.
It's not nothing. He's drinking whiskey, so that's something.
Yeah, fair.
Hey, Jack, are there any other names in that ledger that got killed by a
Oh,
devil?
look. Is there any other than these two?
Rest of the pages are blank, Jack. It's just that first page that's got our two friends on it.
So it looks like everybody in here was killed by that devil, and there are two people in here.
You two, were you, was there a reason he wanted you dead? Or was
So there's a hesitation for both of them.
Did-
And then they both kind of slowly look down.
you just sort of got in the way?
Looks like they're trying to figure out how to answer, and they're just not answering. Not looking up or down, I should say.
Sebastian, you said you wanted to go talk to our good friend, the sheriff. Marshall, sorry.
I just wanted to see if he could let us know who happens to live up in that house.
He might could give us a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name and or title.
You two want your coffins left open?
There's a pause. They're kind of looking left and right a little bit, and
You want us to at least rotate them so you can see each other?
And they give you the coffins. Coffins? What do you mean we're in coffins?
they seem real confused. They're kind of looking left and right, and you know what, Jack? Looks like there's a tear coming down her face now.
I don't think they knew they were dead.
Y'all didn't know you were in coffins, did you?
They both look down.
I'm sorry. We're gonna find the guy who did this to you. You two want to be looking at each
They
other?
both slowly look up.
All right, why don't we rotate these while Sebastian goes checks with the marshal? Doesn't take all of us to get a nope.
Heading over to the dirty dog there,
Yep.
Sebastian. So Sebastian, you step out again, quickly looking left and right.
Yep.
Yep. All right, this is how I left it.
Yep.
You cross over. You go to the Dirty Dog Saloon.
Mm-hmm.
Swing the doors open. See the back of the marshal. Gus kind of leans his head out. You guys still here?
Yeah, we're still here. We're just taking in the sights, so to speak.
You want a drink?
Not right now. They might be affecting my senses a little. Not sure I should have any more. You guys know who lives up in that big house up the way?
You talking about a White House, right at the end of the
Yeah,
road there?
big white house up the way.
Yeah, that's the Todd's house. Yeah, old Harvey Todd lives there, and his daughter's there, and yeah, I mean, since his wife passed away, we don't see much of him, but yeah, that's the Todd house.
Todd house. All right. What's he do around here?
Well, these days keeps me in business.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You going up that way?
We might. We're not quite sure.
Well, a couple things. Would you just let Harvey know that he still got his tab here, and I'd love for that to get squared, and yeah, I'd probably be gentle, telling him about Sally if you're fixing to do that.
Him and Sally close?
Yeah, I think since the wife died, I think Sally's been heading up there after work now for a good month or so. So I'm fixing it. She may not have good taste in men. I told her, that he's trouble, but that didn't seem to stop her.
What makes him so much trouble there, Gus?
He's just a drunk, mean drunk.
Mean drunk?
He was kind of a mean drunk before his wife died, but man, since then, I feel bad. I feel bad for him. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad for him, and I feel real bad. Real bad for that little girl.
How old is the daughter? Roundabouts.
Little Lindsay. Hey, how old do you think little Lindsay is? I reckon she's about 7, maybe pushing 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. They're like 7, 8, somewhere in there. She's a good little. She's a good little girl. She don't deserve to have that have that kind of house there, and having to put up with that.
Okay.
I feel bad for her.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll reach in and I'll slide a coin down the bar.
Well, appreciate it. You guys are welcome here. We got a ton of whiskey and stuff. We'll be here.
All right. You keep enjoying your drink there, Marshall.
Marshall looks down and goes, you know what? I think it's a good idea. You know what, Gus? This last one. I'm just going to have one more. He slides.
Does not surprise me.
Slides his
I'll
glass
turn
towards
around and walk out.
Cut back to the Undertaker's office. We see that the three of you gentlemen kind of moved the coffins around, and Edward, as that was happening, you kind of checking things out, you now realize that on the back of her neck, it's been cleaned up, but you can see where her neck got bit out. Now that you kind of look close, it's been kind of hidden, and he's got kind of a high collar on him, and I'm imagining as you just kind of reach up and pull that collar down a little bit, and you see a huge chunk of his neck missing. But they've all obviously been cleaned up, right? Yeah.
So it definitely looks like the same sort of thing got to them.
Yeah, and neither of them, by the way, have a pulse if you checked.
I guess that's something. Okay.
What was the name of the fellow in the jail cell again?
Oh, I had.
So it was, Steven something, I think.
Stephen Thompson.
Thompson, that's right.
Okay, it wasn't.
Nah.
It wasn't Harvey Todd.
It certainly seems like the town itself wants us to go check out the Todd place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey Denise, one more thing. Do we need to be worried about Harvey or Lindsay? Up for Harvey, down for Lindsay.
She looks up. Then she looks down.
Gotcha. Oh, son of a...
probably should have asked about the circumstances surrounding the wife's death,
Just
but
straight on the
a
train.
little more worried about what we were dealing with currently. Okay. Well, do we want to head up there?
Might as well.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, step out. Head up towards what you now know to be the Todd house.
So I am going to undo the chair on the door before we leave.
Okay. It's kind of a slow walk up the road. Obviously, you're taking in information as you get closer and closer. And Sebastian's kind of an initial assessment kind of matches up what he told you, and it's kind of confirmed Sebastian. Definitely, this yard area has not been taken care of. Lot of weeds and vines, around the fenced-in area. As you get closer, you can see that, it's a beautiful white house, but as you get closer, you see the paint's been chipping, a lot of weathering, some rotten wood areas. In fact, one of the windows is boarded up. And you also notice the doghouse in the front yard.
How big is the doghouse?
Goes about up to your waist, so it could definitely house like a medium-sized dog, maybe as big as like a golden. There's a chain in the middle of the yard, staked to the ground, and the chain runs into the doghouse. There's a kind of, it looks like a burlap flap over the door of the doghouse, and red paint above the door says devil.
How thick does the chain look?
Pretty thick.
Well, Jack, looks like those two were attacked by devil here.
Yep.
Hmm.
Which means that old Harvey's decided that he's got himself a hunting dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take a look for tracks, see if there's any obvious, well-worn paths that don't lead to the front door, as well as to see if there's any obviously large dog.
Yeah,
prints.
so let's do a roll. We can do a smarts roll unless you've got something, a skill you want to try. Let's do survival.
It'd be the same, but I was thinking survival.
Oh!
The dice explode in Savage Worlds and in Deadlands. You're at a 19. That's good. So as you're getting closer to Shiro, you kind of break off a little bit, looking down at the ground. And it's kind of a dry dirt. Road itself is pretty worn, but yeah, you see a lot of dog tracks, right? Kind of all around the Todd house as you get closer, and with a 19, it's obvious these are different dog tracks, right? So it's not just one dog. It looks like multiple size dogs, smaller dogs, bigger dogs, medium-sized dogs, kind of all around the Todd house. You also see large dog prints, at least like this. And with that 19, I think you also notice that sometimes it seems to be on all fours. Other times it looks like it's just on its hind legs.
Well, fellas, I think we got a dog pack. And I think we got one that knows some fancy tricks. Seems like it's able to go back on 2 feet. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
You mean like the thing that attacked us on
That
2
thing?
feet? Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Nope, doesn't sound familiar at all.
I'll point out one of the paw prints. Jack, you sure you still
Well,
aren't
you
a
know.
betting man?
So where are we? Outside the fence?
Yeah.
So from where you are,
Yeah.
you can see the front door is closed. The one window is shuttered with wooden shutters. The other one is boarded up. And you hear breathing coming out of the doghouse. Heavy, big breathing.
Hey, Eddie, how about you go around one corner while I go around the other corner? We can see if there may be a path that doesn't take us in front of that doghouse. While the other two here keep an eye on that doghouse.
Sure. Edward, make
Sounds
sure
good
to
to me.
have his pistol at the ready.
So you guys kind of start to work your way, to the left and to the right of this fenced-in area, fenced-in yard. That front door was closed. So it's a little bit of a surprise when you hear a little girl's voice. What are y'all doing here? You look. There's the door's open. She's still inside the house itself. She looks about 7, 8 years old. She's in a black nightgown. She's got long black hair, kind of covers her face. I don't think you're supposed to be here. Paul said no strangers.
Is this? Sorry,
She's
who
kinda talking
is
to
she
all y'all.
talking to again?
Well, you must be little Lindsay,
Okay.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, we were sent up here to talk to your daddy. Can you go get him for us?
Daddy's sleeping. Yeah, he's sleep. I'm not gonna wake him up. He gets ornery when he's waking, and he's hard to wake up.
Yeah.
No, don't wake him up. We hate to do that. Say, is Devil here friendly?
Devil's not no no devil's not friendly.
No, I didn't imagine he was. How many dogs you got
Oh,
there, Lindsay?
All we got is devil. Daddy got devil a little while back because too many people are snooping around the house. They don't snoop around the house no more.
Why were people snooping around your house, Lindsay?
I don't know. You see her kind of like rubbing her eyes, like
Hey,
trying to wipe sleep out of her eyes.
you just wake up,
Yeah,
Miss
I
Lindsay?
heard you making walking up to the house, and yeah, I just came downstairs and saw you here. You ain't supposed to be here. Daddy says no strangers.
Well, we aren't strangers. My name's Toshiro, and I'm friends with Sally. Sally told me to come up here.
I don't like Miss Sally. Yeah, I don't like you either.
No?
If you're her friend.
So why don't you like Miss Sally? I mean, you seem sweet as candy. I can't understand why you wouldn't like somebody.
I mean, she's nice to me and all, but she, I, she's acting like she's my mama, and she's not my mama. My mama dead, and I don't
What
want
happened?
I don't want another mama.
What happened to your mama?
She's sick for a while. The coughing hard, and she lay in bed, and then one day she didn't wake up. Made Dad real sad.
How soon after that did you end up getting Devil?
Well, I figure it was probably maybe a week or two after Mama died that Daddy got Devil. He's a mean dog. I don't like Devil.
So you said you got devil because people were sneaking around. Was it the marshal who was over here? Was he like maybe talking to your dad about how your mom died? And it made you sad?
Yeah, him and Marshall argued a lot. Yeah, I guess so maybe. But Marshall stopped coming by, when Daddy got Devil. No,
You don't
sir.
like Devil, and you don't have to like me. That's fine. That's okay. And you don't have to like Sally. Is there anybody you do like in town? Maybe we could have you go talk to them.
Daddy'd be real mad if I left the house. I'm not going talking to nobody, especially with strangers walking around town. I don't.
Oh,
No, Daddy give me a whooping. I'm staying right here.
well, maybe we could bring them to you then. Who's somebody you like?
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Gus down at the saloon. Sometimes he gives me candy. I like him fine. Him and Dad been arguing, but he was always nice to me. Haven't seen him in a while. He always had candy.
Yeah, we met Mr. Gus. He seems like a friendly sort. What if we woke up your daddy
No,
for
no,
you?
no, no.
So
You can't come in this. You strangers. Daddy said no strangers around the house. That's why we got Devil. So no, you best not come inside.
right.
That's a bad idea.
What what kind of dog is Devil anyway?
I don't know, big dog, big black dog. I don't know.
Yeah.
It-
Where'd your daddy get him from?
Kind of scratches her head a little bit. No, I don't know. I don't right know. He just got him, I guess, and chained him up here up front, and keeps him on the chain. The chain runs the whole house, so he keeps guard around the house. I think he's sleeping though, but I wouldn't wake Devil. And Tashira, you kind of look to the doghouse there, and you can still hear the heavy breathing coming from the doghouse, and you can see kind of that burlap flap over it kind of move alongside and in tandem with that breathing.
Chain goes all
So
the way
best you
around the
can
house.
tell, and the overgrown nature of things doesn't help this, but as best you can tell, is the stake is right in the middle of the yard, say halfway between the front door and the gate to the fenced area where you are just outside. And it looks like a long ass chain, right? So it's kind of winding all around, and you lose track of it in certain spots because you really can't tell exactly how long it is. But you do see that it goes inside of the house. So what she's saying could match up.
Wait, inside of the main house?
No, inside the doghouse.
Inside the doghouse, okay.
So it sounds like it's set up so that it's long enough that he can get to any point in the yard. But if he runs around one side, he has to run back around to get to the other side.
Yeah, definitely.
I do not like what you're thinking. It's a person on one of the sides.
Hate to say it, Jack, but I think I'm having the same thought. We get him wrapped
Are there
around
any
the house.
trees in the?
He won't
the
be
yard?
going very far.
There is. There's actually one right behind the doghouse. Small, looks like maybe an apple tree. Not huge, but it looks like it, would provide a decent amount of shade to the doghouse. It looks like the doghouse may have been built under this tree.
Does it look like someone could climb it to avoid a terrible,
Fellas,
terrible
I'm
dog?
not.
You could climb the tree, sure.
Better question is, does it look like something we could tie the chain to shorten it?
We could pitch the chain over some of the branches.
You all best get before Daddy wake up, or Devil. He won't be happy having strangers in me, and I'll get a whooping if he knows I'm talking to you.
Well, why don't you go back inside so that if he wakes up and he sees us, then he won't see you talking to us.
You ain't fixing to wake up Devil, are you?
Now, how do we can help it? I mean, we don't know how light of a sleeper is. Us leaving might wake him up. So I can't promise we won't wake him up because,
So, as you're saying that, Jack, she's kind of looking at the doghouse, and you see her reach to the side of the door on the inside, right? So her hand goes out of sight and comes back in sight, holding this huge axe handle. So good size, big axe handle. And you best not wait. Just don't wake up Devil, okay? She's not threatening you with it or anything. She's just kind of holding it. And it's unwieldy for her little hands.
like I said, I can promise you we don't want to wake
All
up
right,
Devil
fellas.
if we can help it.
Okay, I mean, I'll go back upstairs and go back to bed, but I feel bad if y'all weren't here. Look, Daddy don't like strangers, and neither does Devil. If you guys get, I'll pretend I never saw you. I'll just go right back to bed and won't tell Paul about nothing.
That seems fair. Why don't we
Yeah.
step away, boys?
All right.
Where are we going?
Yeah, pretty
My
much.
place is just out of sight.
Okay. So, tell me if I'm wrong here. You guys kind of walk back into town, right? About 150 yards down the road, back into where the town is. It's as you left it, and kind of looking over your shoulder, as you go, and as you kind of get back to the town area where the 4 buildings are, you see that the front door close.
Anybody else ever have a little girl give them
So
the
we need to
creeps
get
like
into that
that?
building, right?
Well, it depends upon what you mean by the creeps. If you mean a strong loathing and existential dread, yep.
Yeah, that's about what I mean by the creeps.
She seemed more frightened than anything else to me, but
I don't know. Frank and Denise both said that they were both troublesome, so I don't know how troublesome an 8-year-old can be, but stranger things, I guess.
Indeed.
so we're agreed we need to get in there.
100%.
Correct.
So I think that's the only place with we're going to get any answers.
We need to get Devil wrapped up.
Yep.
Right?
Do we think we could go around the house? I guess not directly at the fence.
Sure.
Do we want to try something like that? Or we could come at the house from the back?
Going through the back
Yeah,
door.
I think that might be our best bet.
I say this all fully expecting that somehow we'll spectrally not be allowed to do this. Like there is no town outside of the fence.
I do want an agreement from all of you. We're not killing any little girls.
Addendum. If the little girl tries to kill me,
We're not murdering any little girls.
I will not intentionally harm her if my life is not in danger.
I'm fine with us incapacitating her if we need to, tiring her up if it turns out she's somehow related to this devil dog, but we're not killing any girls.
I have no plans to kill any little girls.
I can go with incapacitation.
Incapacitation.
All
it
right.
is. Somebody has the ether, right? We're good for this.
I have the ether. Yeah.
Handed that off to
Assuming she's
Jack.
still breathing, that is.
So what do we think? Go in the back door, or do we try to wrap up Devil?
I think
Around
I'd
the
rather
house
try
with
and
the tree or
sneak in the
something.
back door and
Yeah.
see what happens.
All right.
So you guys sneaking around?
I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
So you guys get to the kind of the edge of the town where the grasslands start again, right? Where it's the grass is high up, and probably your best bet is to go into the grass a little bit, maybe. You guys kind of work your way down. Well, let's say the left side of the house. See the apple tree and work your way, and you're able to get about 30 yards staying in the grass, but within about 30 yards of the back of the fence. And fence in this area has another latch door on that part of the fence, and you can see there is a back door to this house.
I'm gonna try the latch.
I
on the
guess.
fence.
So is this fence like right smack in the middle, or is it off to one side?
So the fence literally just creates a square around the house.
Sorry,
The
sorry.
house
I meant the
The
gate or
gate
whatever
to
that
the
we're about.
fence.
Yeah, the
Is
gate
it
to the
on
fence.
a set,
completely
center?
lines up with the back door. and you can see kind of a walk, treaded area right between the fence and the fence door and the back door.
So based on our theory, Devil could get to this location from either side.
Wouldn't surprise you.
All right, which one of you is opening that gate?
I'll do it.
I've never seen a character pull more short straws than Toshiro.
This is why you don't take the
So,
heroic
you know.
hindrance.
Aren't I the one that has the hindrance that says all the random stuff, bad stuff happens to me?
So Toshiro,
It's the random bad stuff happens to you. I choose the random bad
so
stuff.
Toshiro, you start walking up to the fence, and you hear the back door open. I told you,
Oh,
no
boy.
strangers.
Hi, Miss
You guys
Lindsay.
y'all ain't supposed to be here. Daddy's gonna wake up, or Devil's gonna wake up. And she says Devil, and you see her reach and grab that axe handle again. She's holding it.
What's that axe handle for, Miss Lindsay?
This here, this is the whacking stick.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
I don't. Daddy
use that on
does.
Devil.
Yeah, he'll beat the tar out of old Devil with his stick if Devil's acting up. It makes me feel better holding it, but I don't think I would ever use
Yeah.
it. But yeah, this is the whacking stick.
Does Daddy ever use
The
the whacking
whacking
stick
stick,
on
huh?
you? You mentioned he'd spank you.
Well, you don't know, Daddy would just spank me with his hand, but I'm a good girl, so he don't spank me much. I listen.
How? Yeah, we need to talk to your father.
I ain't waking Daddy up.
Oh no, you don't have to. Miss Lindsay, I'm gonna need to borrow that whacking stick.
Oh, I don't know. That I don't think Daddy'd like that. No, sir.
No, I'm sure he wouldn't. But Miss Sally got real badly hurt, and we need to tell your dad.
What happened to Miss Sally?
We think Devil bit her.
Devil never did like her. Oh, that's sad.
Yep, I know you don't like her, and that's
I guess
okay.
she won't be bothering Daddy
but-
none now.
No, I suppose she won't, but we do need to let your
I'll-
daddy know. And he needs to go see her
I mean,
down at the doctor's office.
I'll tell Daddy when he wakes up if you like. And I mean, I guess so. She ain't gonna be my mama then, right? She's not my new mama now.
Well, we don't know if she's going to be getting better. That's why we need to see your daddy. He needs to go talk to the doctor.
I ain't waking him up.
Well, that's okay. That's why
Daddy
I'm going to
said no
wake him up.
strangers.
I think we can make an exception here for
Hmm.
such an important event.
Who wants to make a persuasion roll? Who's in the best position there?
I've got a D6.
That's better than me. That's better.
Okay.
Edward, Jack.
I've got
Uh,
a
alright.
D6 as well, so might as well beat Toshiro over me since he's been talking already.
Edward,
yeah, I'm on a D4.
you're not persuasive. All right,
What
so
about-
Toshiro, do a
Okay.
persuasion roll. You've been saving up these rolls. 11 with the explosion on one of them. So you want to come in?
I think that'd be I think that'd be for the best that me and my friends come in. I promise we won't hurt you or touch
Well,
anything, okay?
I kind of know you because you and I've been talking. I guess it's okay if you. I don't like those other three. Those other three are strangers, but maybe you're not a stranger no more. And
That's fair.
you got
That's
a
fair.
funny thing covering
What?
your eye. That's funny.
It is funny. I done poked myself in the eye a couple of years ago, and it kind of hurts.
That wasn't too
you know?
smart.
I got a spare one. No, it wasn't. I got a spare one. You want to try it on?
Can I have one?
Certainly can. You mind if I come in,
Kinda
though?
looks left and right. I mean, I guess. But you gotta be quiet. Don't wake up Daddy, and don't wake
I'm
up
gonna
Devil.
look back. You got it, miss. I'm gonna look back at these three. You fellas,
I can't
Okay
say I'm
with
too
this?
happy about you going in there
Yeah.
alone, but if it's our only option,
if that devil dog is what we were dealing with, if that whacking stick actually pisses it off, it might be the only thing we've
Fair.
got that can hurt it.
That's true.
Because we threw everything we could at it. I saw that shotgun blast you put into it, Sebastian.
yeah. Well, guess we got no other option.
If I distract her, maybe you guys can come in, the front or the back.
All right.
Sounds
All right?
good.
You just start shooting and hollering if something happens. I'll come out with the whacking stick.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. I'll head up with meet up with Lindsay. Take out
All
my
right, so
spare eye
sure you
patch and hand it to
Walk
her.
up to the fence there and to the gate, and it latches on the inside, so you have no trouble kind of reaching your hand over and undoing the latch. And I would imagine a little tentatively you open up the gate and you start walking towards the house. Don't hear nothing. Get up to the open door, and she's standing there, and you really can't see her face too well. It's all covered with this tousled black hair. And she's standing there with the stick. She goes, "Can I have the eye thing?"
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just hand her my
She takes
spare,
it, and you see
and I'll show
she
her how
pulls her hair to the side, and she doesn't put it on. She just kind of covers her eye with it, and the strap just handing down. She goes,
Mhm.
"How you see with this thing?" Her sleeve falls
Not too
as
good.
she's holding the eye patch, and you see a huge chunk of her forearm is gone.
Oh, Miss Lindsay. Hey,
Yeah,
is
with
she
her
holding
other
onto
hand.
that whacking stick still? Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, Miss
I
Lindsay.
can't hardly see nothing like this.
No, it's hard, right? Here, you can tie it behind your head if you use both
Oh.
hands. See, like this. You want to play around with it a
Can
little
you
bit?
hold this? She hands
Yeah.
you the whacking stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tashir, when you grab this axe handle, it is a lot heavier than it looks. Like you almost drop it when she hands it to you. Like, this must be a strong little girl because it's got a weight to it. And she takes it and she's trying to tie it. Doesn't look like she's doing so hot. It keeps kind of falling off and fixing, but she's pretty occupied.
Hey, Lindsay, devil ever bite you?
Yeah, he bit me yesterday on my arm. on my arm. See,
Right there on the
that's a
arm.
big
Yeah.
boo boo where he
Yeah,
bit
that
me.
looks like it hurts.
But Daddy, no,
Yeah, you
Daddy
seen the
said no
doctor for
doctors, no
that?
nothing, and he beat Devil good. He was mad.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he was. You know what? Give me 1 second, little Lindsay. Let me just run talk to my friends real quick. I'm gonna take the
She
whacking
doesn't seem
stick
to
with me.
notice. She seems pretty occupied with that eye patch.
All right,
and
fellas,
your
I'm gonna-
exploding dice.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna go kill that son of a bitch.
The dog or the dad?
Thanks. I was kind of curious.
First one, then
Start
the
with
other.
one. See if that makes me feel better. Then we'll see how I'm feeling.
Oh, well,
Start on
let's,
the second one.
Okay. Start with the dog, and then before we, try and put the dad under, let's try and get some information.
You see what you did to that poor
I
girl?
saw.
All right, I'm gonna go fix this. Any of you coming with me?
I ain't gonna leave a man alone.
No, might as well.
What the hell are
okay.
we doing?
We going into the house first?
Anybody want to come up with a plan, or am I just? No, I'm
Oh.
just gonna kill that damn dog. Nobody bites a child like that. Gets to live. We're gonna come up with a plan, or you want me to just go out and beat the liver tar out of it?
I feel like a plan would be best, but
Yeah.
That is a plan, right?
you're a little hot under the collar there right now, Toshiro. So
Somehow we can get it wrapped around the house, you suppose?
I suppose.
I mean, possibly.
What do you think if we make some noise over here?
All right,
and
any
run
of us
around
any
the
good at
side?
running? That sounds
Yeah.
good to me. Maybe we split up, distract it. One of us jumps the fence, others be on around the next corner and just kind of tag team it. Jack, how much of a nuisance can you make yourself with those guards?
Well, we can find out. Though I'm going to say I ain't great at jumping a fence.
I'm thinking we put you toward the end then.
Okay.
How about you two? Any good at climbing fences and
I
running?
seem like
Yeah.
the kind of person who's good at climbing fences.
I can do it. I'll be the runner.
I think. You sure you want to do that, Sebastian?
I mean, no offense, Edward. I just don't think you can outpace the thing.
None taken.
Edward surprised us before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a
that's
shot.
The thing, though, is do we want you running or do we want you shooting?
Did you hear that?
You shoot it.
Well,
you'll get
I
its
figure
attention.
I can start a decent pace away,
got
take a
enough-
shot, and then run like hell, and then hopefully give you a chance to whap it with that stick.
Sounds good to me. Once we get it tied up, it's going to be a lot easier to beat it.
Walk me through it. What are we doing?
So I figure these guys are going to be standing around back of the house, and I'll walk to the side yard.
In the
And
fence?
pull-
Within the fence or outside the fence?
Probably within the fence.
Okay.
Take a shot at where the doghouse is to try and draw the dog out, and then just take off like a bat at it.
Sebastian, you kind of work your way through yard area, and you have sight line to the tree, and you can see the house behind it. It's within range. I don't know
Okay.
how close you want to get.
Probably about this close.
Not very. Real the answer.
What I was thinking was almost like a relay thing. Was we have Sebastian at the farthest back corner that he can still see the doghouse. He shoots it. It comes tearing out, and he sprints. Gets out through the gate that we were in. At which point, Edward, gets its attention, has enough of a lead to run towards the front. And then we have Jack there. Gets its attention again.
And basically, we're gonna snake it around the whole house.
And then once we can get it wrapped all the way. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Get it as far around the house as we can so it gets to the end of its chain. And then once it's caught at the end of the chain, then I can beat it. And at any point, I can take over as the
Victim.
baton. Yeah.
How big are the links of the chain?
They're pretty good size, so I would say like that.
So what I'm wondering is, if it's running towards Sebastian, could one of the guys possibly run over there, grab some of the chain, and drop it onto the pole to shorten it? Because the reality is, if we're I understand you want to get vengeance, but if we're just trying to get in the door, just shorten it enough that it can't get to us while we're going to the door would be enough.
That is a whole lot less complicated and
Yeah, all right.
probably a whole lot more life-saving.
I like that. So we have Sebastian at the back corner still. And then you get its attention. I run up and grab the chain and throw it over the pole so that the chain is
Which
shortened.
pole? Sorry.
The pole the chain's attached to,
That
The
sounds
spike.
the spike. So the one we assume is down far enough that it won't pull free.
And the link is big enough that you could do that, Jack. So you'd be, it would be able to, one of those links could be put on the spike.
Jack, you're a much better thinker than I am.
Well, I just try to make things simple.
So, Jack, got a question. Why don't you stand with me? And these two can take the chain. And if that thing gets too close, you can hit it with your little firefly friends that you somehow managed to throw around.
Sure, I could try doing that.
Or
Yeah.
pitch the ether into its face, too.
All right, so we're gonna be in the front yard then. Okay.
All right. So
Yep.
Jack and Sebastian are in the
We're gonna
backyard
be
in the
outside.
corner. So you got sight line, Sebastian to the house within shooting distance. And then if I'm hearing this correctly, Toshiro and Edward, you're working your way up to the front yard.
Actually, talk about the ether.
Mhm.
Should I just try tossing the ether into the doghouse? That way it's contained?
You know what? I don't really
Yeah,
see
I
any
mean, you know,
downside to that.
It's going to take it out quicker inside that doghouse than it is in the open air.
I mean, and we can try our plan anyway. See if the ether even works on it before we rely on that.
Yeah, that sounds good. We could throw the ether first, and then
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah.
All right. So Sebastian's in the back corner,
Mm-hmm.
rifle ready.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody else doing?
So it sounds like I'm going to start up front so I can toss the ether into the doghouse.
Okay. So you're up around front, Jack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going to be up there with him with the whacking stick.
Where's Edward?
Does that put me back in the back to be second victim in the relay? I feel like I'm fully qualified to run away.
I think if we put you on the opposite, if we put you on the opposite back corner, so you can at least serve as a distraction to it, we should be able to. If the ether doesn't work, we can shorten the chain enough that it can't get to you. Hopefully.
Hopefully did a lot of work in that sentence.
Sure did. There was a diff in there doing some heavy lifting too.
All right, I think this is the plan.
All right, so the camera cuts to the front yard where Jack and Toshiro's are standing. Jack, you've got the ether bottle out, cork
Right.
on it.
So, guessing that's a fighting roll?
So what are we doing? Undoing the cork and just kind of tossing it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I think
athletics
that's an
better for
athletics
that.
roll.
Okay.
There's athletics throwing.
Shoot up real quick. Good, because my athletics is a D6 instead of a D4. So, just got it.
Very nice.
And by the way, I have brute, so I get a +1 on the range band if that matters.
Oh, very nice. So Jack, you kind of in a bowling motion, underhanded motion, kind of swing your arm down a couple times, kind of measuring the weight of the bottle and checking your range, and throwing stuff is something that you've done a lot, right? So
Yeah.
you give that thing a toss and it flies, and it's kind of a ceramic jar, right? Not glass. It lands right in front of the burlap and then rolls into it and vanishes behind the burlap flap. You can still hear the heavy breathing that I mentioned before, and it doesn't seem to change when that bottle rolls in.
Okay. So you want to try to see if you can quietly go over there and shorten that chain?
Do we want to get? Do we want Sebastian to get its attention first?
Well, if Sebastian gets his attention first, we're kind of already, if he wakes up from the ether, he wakes up from the ether. So do we really want to force that to happen? I thought part of the whole idea behind using the ether was so he didn't wake up while you did this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thanks.
All right. Well, that was a good toss.
Okay.
Hold my spear. I guess a sneak roll, huh?
You don't need it. You're pretty quiet. Soft ground. You kind of work your
Okay.
way over to where the spike is, and you can see where that chain is kind of all wrapped around, and it doesn't take too long to figure out where the last of that chain runs into the house. So if the plan is to kind of put that piece of the chain over the spike, you could create a pretty taut, kind of greatly shortening that. You want to do that? So you
Yeah,
pick up the
that's
chain,
the
it's
plan.
heavy, and you kind of pull on it a little bit to kind of get it over the spike. And as you do that, the end of the chain comes out of the house, and there's an empty collar attached to it. And that's when you hear the howls. Fade to black. We're going to go to credits. We'll be back on the other side. All right. So a little post credit discussion. So as we cut to credits, obviously those of you watching couldn't hear it, but Corey was just like, "Oh no." So, Corey, let's start with you. What are we thinking?
I think we're about to be facing down an evil pack of dogs that's led by Devil. I'm
Your
gonna have to
whacking
use
stick.
my beaten stick now.
That's right,
My
'cause you
whacking
also
stick,
left
I'm
your spear
sorry.
behind.
Mhm.
Again.
That's right.
Now Eric, you have some thoughts about the little girl. You want to share that with the audience?
Oh, I'm pretty sure she's the actual evil here somehow. Like there's something just off about this. It's I
Yeah.
uh,
When you described that the hair was over her face, the first what ran through my mind was the eyes are the windows of the soul, and if we ever get the hair out of the way, her eyes are just going to be empty eye sockets.
yeah.
I thought that was coming when she put on the eye patch, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I did too.
No, she had eyeballs. To sure did see the eyeballs.
Yeah. I don't know. This got intense.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, it was an interesting episode. There was no fighting. We only had what, a half dozen rolls, maybe. Of course,
Yeah.
we ended up rolling 15 dice for those because you kept exploding them. But yeah, no, I think it was a good episode. And so we are scheduled to come back. What, a week from Thursday?
Yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
16th.
Yeah, the 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll do the third, maybe final episode of this run at Deadlands. Let's quickly talk through some of the other stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we got a biggie for my Malaphone fans. It's at 8 p.m. tomorrow here on Twitch. If you're watching this live, you can make sure you hit that follow if you haven't already. Huge thanks to everybody in the chat. I really appreciate everybody watching live that did. If you're watching this later on YouTube, a little like and subscribe and maybe a comment about what you think is going on here would be great as well. Big help to us. Something that many of you already know, but one of the benefits of being a patron of Third Floor Wars is you get a chance to play in some of these games. So a big thanks to the 4 of you guys for being supporters and being patrons. Very much appreciated. All right, so Tuesday the 7th, 8 o'clock is our Malifaux Resurrectionist analysis. This coming Thursday the 9th at 9 p.m. is the 4th episode of our Fear Itself. If you're digging the feel of this game, if you're liking kind of the spooky horror aspect to what we're playing, and you have not watched my Fear Itself game, you should fix that. You got a couple days here to get caught up and watch the first 3 episodes. It's also pretty intense. So that's going to be at 9 p.m. on Thursday. And then I think our next stream is going to be Mothership on the 12th at 1 p.m. Another spooky one. And then get to continue my run at D&D on the 14th. That's at 8 p.m. I get to play back in the streets of Avalon, and we've got Brett from Gaming and BS running that. And then the 16th at 8 p.m. that Thursday, we do it again. Old Slow Tiger asks, but where the Forbidden Lands at? So Forbidden Lands, which has been a very popular here on the stream, we put it on hiatus, and I mentioned a hiatus until December, but I'm not going to lie to you, old Slow Tiger. I was kind of looking at November a little bit earlier today because I'm already missing running that. So that's good times. And for those of you watching, if you have not watched the 6 episodes we did of Forbidden Lands for season 1, it's worth a watch. We had a lot of fun playing that. All right, so let's put together a raid. Any last thoughts or comments before we do that?
No.
I think you covered it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
for running, Greg.
Ton of fun. You guys don't seem like this is the first time playing together, which I just think is wonderful. I love it when a cast just clicks right out of the gate. It usually takes a couple episodes before that happens, but not with you guys. All right, so let's take a look and see who we can raid. You know what? Let's head over to Chaotic Neutral Games. They're doing an actual play. Their actual plays are pretty good. and this will about double their viewers. So when we head over there, just make sure you let them know that the third floor sent you, and then stick around for a little bit. They're pretty good. All right, appreciate it, everybody. And I always forget there's a delay on the raid. There we go, raid now.